Hello, amazing people. Today with another amazing guest. It's Inez. She's from Canada, entrepreneur, author, and writer. I'm going right now to invite her. Hey, Inez. Let's invite Inez to our live. So it's going to be a very amazing topic about healing after leaving narcissistic abusive relationship. Hey Inez, hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. How are you doing?
I am so excited. Thank you so much for being on this show. I just was introducing you actually.
Oh,
So so it was a great timing. So Inez is an entrepreneur. She's author, publisher. She's a coach. She's also a warrior. And she's amazing soul, mom, survival, advocate for survivors, friend for me, uh, and she loves also doggies,
yeah,
right? Hello, doggy.
yeah. My baby. He's always got to be close to me.
Oh, the animals are very intuitive, right? Like children.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, he's helped me through many important times in my life. And for anybody who is going through hard times, having a pet is it it's a great way to share, but yet not. You don't ever have to say anything.
Right.
They're
Yeah,
just there for you. So
yeah, they feel you, right?
yeah,
So, so, so hello to your, what's his name?
Jack,
Jack.
Jax, J
Jax.
Jax, Jax. Hey, baby.
Jax. Hello, Jax. All right. I learned something new. So, we have another audience member. That's amazing. So, Inez, I didn't mention, but Inez is also sharing her story in our documentary. And she is today on this podcast to speak more about actually taking power back, about healing. And even we are going to talk about healing, we also invite you guys, if you join in the replay, please follow Inez, connect with Inez. She's also, publisher. She wrote a book about her story from
Absolutely.
different narrator perspective, right? We are going to talk more about it. So, Inez, could you share with us, as an expert and also survival, why do we end up in this kind of abusive relationships, which many times doesn't end in one, but we tend to skip to another one? And so is there a bad luck or what's the reason?
Well, if it's bad luck, then I had it 3 times. I don't think we ever really go out seeking those types of relationships, you know. Then again, though, I also don't think that things just happen. I think that sometimes, because it's human nature, right, that we want to be loved, and sometimes I think we're looking too hard, or we may just settle for something that isn't the best for us. Um, Sometimes, you know, we're trying to get away from something that's bad, and you go from basically the pot to the fire, right? Something
Mhm.
that's just that much worse. Um,
The same demon in different body, right?
exactly. Exactly, for sure. I think that it's something, you know, my background is I come from a family that, you know, my parents are very close. They're been married over 55 years. They're super happy, still love each other. I never saw abuse anytime growing up. It was not something I grew up with or thought that it was a normal thing to have happen in the home. That just wasn't the case. And when it happened to me the first time, I was astonished, you know, that that had happened to me. But then realizing that, you know what, this happens to many people, and it has nothing to do with basically who you are. It's just those things do happen. But you know, if you can catch those signs, though, to start off with, like the red flags that you call them, uh,
Mm.
then we could probably save ourselves a lot of pain if we watched things like that a little closer.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. And like you said, that's a huge, huge point that we don't need to come from some bad attachment styles with our parents to really be in abusive relationships, because we can have safe attachment style, have a good relationship, but be in an abusive relationship because of being not educated about maybe, like you said, red flags, or not fully expressing our boundaries, right? Because when you see a narcissist, they're kind of, they run away from people who have strong boundaries because they know there is no way
That's right.
um, they will give power away, right?
Exactly.
So it is something what I had to learn as well, right? So I mean, about the red flags, let's talk about those red flags and how do you define them, and yeah, how to explain to somebody who has no idea about
Right.
red flags.
Yeah, for sure. There's some people, that just can't, they can't understand what is a red flag. And to me, a red flag is that gut instinct, that what you feel in your belly that says that that's not right, or that you've stepped over your boundaries or my boundaries. That's exactly what that is. That's a gut instinct telling you something isn't right. It's kind of like when you go for a walk and decide not to walk down that dark alley. That's a gut instinct telling you don't do that. And we get those when we're around people. But we tend, when it's somebody that we like or that we want to be with, then we pass those over because, oh, that's nothing. Or that's, I'm overreacting, or things like that. We talk ourselves out of stuff.
Right, like gaslighting, right? Also.
Yeah, yeah, we talk ourselves out of things, and we don't hear those degrading or demeaning things that are happening to us, whether it's something that somebody says or a reaction to something, and we don't see it. We just pass it off. Oh, maybe he's having a bad day. Oh, maybe that's just me. Oh, we can come up with a long list of excuses, but the fact is that if your gut is telling you that this isn't right, then you need to be making a plan to get out of there, because it's not right.
I love that. And there's a one fan of yours. It's called BM Racer 44. I've been following Inez from last 1 year, and I think so that she's very positive lady. I must say, I always see so much of positive vibes
Mm.
and positive in herself. And
Oh.
he's sending us hugs and a lot of blessings
Mm.
in the messages. So you are transforming lives, like you are a public speaker,
Yeah.
and you decided to turn that pain into power. So tell us a little bit about the healing and what helped you to be where you are, successful entrepreneur, author, and transforming lives. What does it take?
um I think it mostly takes a lot of passion, but I think the biggest thing for me is I don't want to live this life having not helped someone else. So if I've gone through something that someone else can learn from, and they may not have to go through all the hurdles that I did, then I will gladly share. Um, my book is about just that. I share all types of things that I went through being a chronic pain warrior. I think that a chronic pain warrior comes in all different sizes, though. There's the pain on the inside, there's physical pain, there's mental pain, there's pain from loss. So I think each one of us is a warrior. But we just need to, maybe we need to just dust ourselves off a little bit and pick ourselves up, and we can all be a warrior. There you go. That's it. We are all warriors. Absolutely. Every single one of us. We just need to believe that.
Well, thank you for sharing um, how you transform, right? Because of it, that bring hopes and empower others, or maybe watching you right now. Um, like we have still with us BM Racer, for who you became, inspiration, right? Because of sometimes it takes one person, positive person, empowering our life to see
That,
that it is possible for ourselves, that belief from somebody else, to borrow that faith,
that's
basically, right? And
absolutely.
and I would love to ask you, because of it's a conversation between ladies, I don't discriminate men, but I would love to ask you for sharing with us what helped you the most to recreate, rebuild yourself, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-respect.
Right.
Maybe there are different topics, but I mean, huge topics, but is there any specific thing which you could share with us, how to start that
Sure.
process of basically, how was the name? Um, Unleashing the power within, or some people say reburning from the ashes, like
Yes.
Phoenix.
So, like I said before, I had three relationships that were toxic and abusive. And now that I look back on it, I think I can't believe that I went through those things. That is not ever what I expected my life to be. Um, but after my last relationship, I decided that relationships would go on the back burner, and it was time for me. And
Mm,
I had two young daughters at the time, and it was time for them. They needed a good life, and that was my main focus. And so I turned more so to my career and went to work, worked hard at what I was good at, um, and just focused on building a really good, safe, positive home for my girls. That was the most important thing to me. And so, because of it, I was alone for about 11 years. I had a date here or there, but my kids were more important. I didn't want them to see all kinds of men coming through their lives. And, they might stay, they might not. I didn't want to put them through that. And so I spent a lot of time being really good to me you know we went on family trips. We had great little overnight vacations here and there. We spent lots of time in the mountains, and we had a pool in our backyard, and I just really took care of myself. Did those things that I liked. I would get my nails done or my hair done, or I was good to me because I deserved it.
mm,
Telling yourself that you deserve those things is sometimes very hard. We've been battered and abused and put down, and to get back up and say, hey, that's not who I am. I am worthy and deserving of all these great and wonderful things. And so, yeah, but that takes time, and I did go through counseling. Counseling is very, very important. I'd suggest anybody and everybody go through it. It's helped me out many times throughout my life, and something that tomorrow, if I felt the need for, I would go back to. I think that sometimes these obstacles we face are just too much for us. And if
mm,
we go to counseling and put it into a little bit of perspective, every day we get up, and it's like we're recreating what happened in the past, and we need to be creating what's going to happen in the future. Let go of what that past looks like, because we get up in the morning and we recall these things, and we just rewind, rewind, rewind. And we waste all that good time doing that, when we should say, okay, that happened. I can't worry about that anymore. I can't make it different. And if I ask why it happened, I'll sit here forever thinking up reasons why. But that's never going to make me feel any better. Why is the worst question you can ever ask yourself, because why things occur makes no difference.
Mm.
as to the fact that they did occur, right? So the best thing you can do is ask yourself, what can I do today that makes me have a better tomorrow? What can I do tomorrow that's going to help somebody else? You know, this interview with you, I adore you for doing this. I think you have this massive heart, and I love that you do this, and how many people that you're touching and helping through this, and the little bits that I help you with, I love that as well. Um, I think that the more that we discuss these things, the less they will occur, because we can take back that power that other people seem to take over and say, hey, you know what? That power, that belongs to her over there, not you. Because oftentimes, you know, the ones that when we're in those relationships, we can't even speak. You know, you feel just strangled. You can't even talk. But if there's a little voice there that says, I'll speak for you, then you can reach out to that and hold on to that, because that could be, you know, the difference maker, right? You have to find that small voice, whether it's deep inside of you or whether it's somebody else speaking for you, just for that moment in time, to say, hey, you don't deserve that, because none of us do. None of us deserve that.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ines. And when you were speaking, there's actually another message from Emma Levich saying she's a very good friend of mine. I want you guys to please send some positive vibes to her. She's really a survivor and very dedicated girl. Please see her work also if possible. Keep shining, girls, and keep helping the people like you always do.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your presence with us and your comments. If you also have some questions to Ines, would help her or to connect with her, we're going to slowly to get to the point how to connect and reach you. I love what you said about the healing part to connect with others, because of actually there's a research showing that people develop PTSD when they get isolated, like when they come, like the rate of people who are coming from war who are suffering from PTSD in Israel and America is totally, you know, up and down.
Right.
Because of in Israel, people have the community, they go together.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you're not alone. I have your back, right? In America, there's a little different attitude toward veterans, right? And they feel lonely and they feel, you know, alone with those flashbacks. That's how the PTSD is developed, by that feeling of being disconnected.
Yeah.
So why I say that is because of the same happens when we've been through some trauma, any kind of trauma, sexual, physical.
Yes.
We feel this happened to me only, and you close, right? You feel lonely, you feel shame, guilt.
That's right.
And because of also the culture supports the individualism, like you can do by yourself, like, you know, competition
Yes.
a lot makes you feel that you cannot run the race. So it's better you are not, you know, visible.
That's right.
Right? That's not what you see on social media. So, you know, it's better to hide it under the carpet and pretend nothing happened, right? Because of it is not cool, right? For the young generation. And the case of Gabi, right? You heard the case of Gabi recently, right?
Yeah.
The girl who unfortunately was murdered. That shows that proof that those abusive relationships, the awareness, it is necessary, is needed, right?
Absolutely.
And because of, yeah,
Yeah.
we could help to save people, lives by just speaking about how to follow your instincts, right? And
That's
your
right.
intuition. Well, the whole point gets to the maybe if you can to trauma bond, because I think that's why Gabi stayed in that relationship, because of the trauma bond, which makes you actually too addicted to the person, right? You feel that you can't exist without the other person. You feel like kind of codependent, right? That like this kind of bond.
Yeah.
So is there any way what helped you to break that trauma bond to not go I understand that you had have children together, but to find your own peace and stop craving those toxic relationships?
Um, the like you said, it's unbelievable that we do this. Our minds are an amazing thing, but we actually we know we're being treated poorly, and yet we leave that relationship and find another one just like it.
Mhm.
And I think some of it has to do with what we constantly are saying to ourselves is what we're going to find. Okay. So if you constantly say, all I find is jerks, then that's all you're going to find is jerks. Because for some,
Right.
then that seems to be all you're looking for. I think you need to change what you say to yourself. You need to change what's going on in here, the conversation in your mind, you know, and especially find someone who's gone through the same thing. Like you said, yes, we have this problem in North America that you go through something and you seem to do it all on your own. We don't crowd around you and do all those things that are done in other parts of the world. If you know what I mean. It used to be if you were hurt or suffering, I mean, there was a lineup around the corner with casserole dishes and somebody there to hug you and everything else, and we've lost that. And
Mhm.
so hopefully by doing things like this, we will get back into those ideas of yes, we need to come together. It's very important that we come together and that we share. That sharing shows you're not alone. I hate to say this, but you're not special. This is not a once in a lifetime thing. This happens every single day of every month of every year. This happens. And it shouldn't, but unless you say something, it will continue. So you have to watch for those signs. If the physical part hasn't happened yet, but the mental part is happening, you need to get out. Any type of abuse, you need to get out, no matter what. Oftentimes, though, the mental starts and the physical follows. And that's why I say, if you've seen any part of that, you need to leave. I saw the mental part 2.5 years before I ever saw the physical. I should have left then, right? But you can go back and say, I should have done this and I should have done that. Don't worry about that. Let's worry about today and tomorrow, right? You cannot fix what occurred in the past. You can't.
Yeah, I
But you can
love what you.
move forward and find somebody, like I said, find a group, find this. I was fortunate. I had two really good friends that were constantly there for me. Not that I sat and talked to them specifically about this, but they were there for me. And
Mhm.
just sit and not say anything at all. Often that's hard to find, but there's people everywhere that they want to help. I'll gladly sit and listen if that's what you need. Absolutely. Right? I find that the best way for me to heal is to help somebody else. That's if you've gotten through something, and I don't say over because you never get over it, you get through it. And once you've gotten through it, the best thing to do, go help somebody else. Because in turn, you get this feeling, this something comes back to you, that an independence, a strength, a resiliency that that this will never occur again. And you can, yeah, just keep on going. Every morning you wake up and you have that new energy to go on, to move on, to keep going, and just keep helping somebody else. One hand by one hand by one hand. Just reach your hand down and grab somebody else. It's the best way. It's the best way to heal.
Mm, right, that hum humanity connection,
Exactly.
right? That perspective, um, that we are all one energy
That's right.
balancing in the world. Um, thank you so much for sharing those words. And I love what you said. I think it should be like, if I had the quotes here, it would be like blank saying, um, create, stop rewiring, rethinking the past, and start recreating your future, right? That's where we can put the energy and time, because of all what we got, it's that the time, right? So to don't get stuck in past stories
Yeah.
and feel that define me, and I should be sitting on the sofa and there's no better life for me. It's better I will not take any decisions because I make those stupid decisions,
Right.
right? To change that monologue where,
Yeah.
like you said, to find the deeper meaning. And we have a comment from your fan. I honestly felt, thank you so much for being with us. I would love to know your name, BM Bracer. I honestly felt in my life, as I am 27 years old and I have seen things in my life that girls are so strong and they are really more strong than boys. Well, um, could you say about that something? Well, maybe it's coming from our genes somewhere, like giving the birth, right? And also, I actually never researched that resilience when it comes to men and women. What's the difference of?
I think it's just a total different chemistry we have. You know,
Mhm.
we were um, women are placed on this earth to do amazing, miraculous things, you know, by giving life and things like that. And I think through those things, we also have a deep strength within that if we tap into that, yes, amazing things can occur.
Right, to get grounded and connect with that energy. And
Yes.
then we have, I respect girls so deeply from my heart, and I always want to
Good.
be go forward. Cool. Well, before we finish this Instagram, I would love to ask you um, one more question. Do we have time? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
About boundaries
Yeah.
and how to really speak up without apologizing. No, no problem. Phone call from the government.
Somebody's trying to find me.
Right, you're very busy. So I appreciate your time. So when it comes to boundaries and how to stop feeling guilty when you are speaking your boundaries and to people who are in your circle, and not just to people who are toxic, but also to basically in daily basis be able to first validate your yes, your no, and speak
Right.
based on what you really think is
Sure.
good for you. Mhm.
Um, I think that oftentimes you have to pick and choose where you're discussing certain things, right? Like, I mean, there are certain people that you've discussed what's occurred in your life, and others that you haven't, and not everybody can handle those things. You know, I have family members that I haven't told about these specific things. I don't know if they're watching, but um, I feel that they just wouldn't handle that well. They wouldn't take it very well. They may be hurt because I didn't say anything sooner, and they would want to help me, or you know. So you have to have boundaries absolutely with everybody, right? It's not just the people that you first meet or the people that are a part of your work circle or anything like that. Boundaries are super important, but they don't always have to be spoken out loud, right? Knowing, first of all, knowing. Sorry about that.
Action. Cut it.
There we go. Okay. So, your boundaries, knowing in your heart and in your mind what your boundaries are, where you feel most comfortable. Okay. And when it gets to a point that, yes, you have to speak of your boundaries, then do so. But, it doesn't have to come out harsh or anything like that. It's just something that, this is how I feel about this, and then move on. Right? It's not something to spend a whole lot of time on or anything like that, because you don't want that to be the focus of anything. Right? You just want them out there. And then, when you put a lot of focus on things, it makes people feel uncomfortable. Right? Things like that. But always know what your boundaries are before you get into any situation. So before you go out on that date, or before you go for that job interview, or whatever it may be, know what it is that you're willing to do and not to do, right? No matter what, whatever situation you're in, you need to know what your boundaries are. And the fact that you've decided what your boundaries are, not somebody else. Because your boundaries are just that. They're your boundaries. They're not anybody else's. And stay true to those, because that's something that is hard to forgive ourselves when we let our boundaries get stepped on, and we've let it happen, right? Forgiveness is a major factor, though. We have to be so kind with ourselves, so kind. Forgive yourself for anything that you think you might have had done. It's okay, because you've done nothing wrong. Okay, so yeah, boundaries, honey. Always have boundaries. When I've gone through life and I didn't have specific boundaries of what I expected or what I wanted, I've been disappointed. So it's good to know
Because
what you want.
I love the blink of eye. Yeah. It's like, that's my magic, that's my superpower. Because somewhere, because when you don't have boundaries, then somebody else will have boundaries for you, like tell you, hey, what you can and what you can't do. And then you need to place, in that movie of somebody else, instead of playing the main role of your life in your own movie, right? And
we're all extras in somebody else's movie, but we're the star of our own. So just remember that. You are the star of your movie.
I love that. And when will be the premiere? No, I'm joking. There is a comment from Anastasia, Art for Annie. Great advice about the forgiveness that she really appreciates, and sending you love when you were talking about how the healing process, how to speak up your boundaries. She's sending you a lot of loves, and you guys should connect. And she's also advocate, coach, and survival. She was on our podcast 2 weeks ago.
Wonderful.
Time is running. I can't count it. So thank you so much for speaking on the healing, on red flags. And it's actually, I'm curious for one more thing, if that's
sure, fine.
if that's possible. Yeah, like when it comes to leaving abusive relationships and having children together, what advices will you give to any survivor who has children with the abusive partner to save your peace, have your peace?
That is the most difficult thing I have ever done, is to try and keep the peace with somebody that has hurt not just me, but my family a great deal. There are sometimes certain things don't need to be said. Having a mediator between the two of you is a fantastic idea, because being in the same room with that person will never work. The Because I have this new life and have for years doesn't mean what occurred between the two of us is any less painful, and doesn't make me any less angry. The more the years pass, sometimes makes me angrier, you know. And so I think a mediator is the best bet. Um, and not to know too much about that other person. You know, my ex-husband and I tried very hard because we had children together, um, for him to have a relationship with his girls. And it it just, now I look back on it, because you know my daughters are older now. My youngest is almost 17. It just seems like such a wasted effort, because I was, now that I look back, I was the only one that was trying, because he was not. And maybe that saved her, for both of them, from a whole lot more pain, right? It's very difficult to trust the man that hurt you that they won't hurt your children, right? And that's why I suggest a mediator right from the get-go, and then you're not having to deal with all of that. You know, then you can actually work on yourself, and because that's hard enough, you know, that's hard enough trying to be strong for your children. You still need that chance to cry, or that, you know, that chance to get angry, but your children shouldn't see that, right? Because that confuses and scares them, right? So yeah, you have to be very careful what your kids see, and but you need to let out whatever is inside of you. You need to get rid of that, because you can't move on or move forward, or really do anything so long as that is still stuffed down, right? You keep pushing those feelings aside until one day everything just blows up, right? That happens all the time, you know. And it can be very dangerous, right? So your best bet is let out those feelings, but in a safe space. And get a mediator. Always have a mediator. Don't ever deal with their garbage. It's just too much trash.
Well, thank you for sharing, because of I think that it can help a lot of people to really um, see that there are ways like to hire a mediator, right? To find somebody between, so they are speaking in well, as your voice, right? Your wheels, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and oftentimes they're not even, you know, the courts provide them for free. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something you even have to pay for,
Oh, that's
right? So yeah, it's not something you have to be worried about an expense and stuff like that. These are things that are provided for you. So we don't realize how many services are actually available to us. You know, like you said, it's just we need to spread the word more, that there are safe places for women to go, because we're there. We're all there to help you.
Yeah, the support, I can feel that. Anastasia is saying thank you so much for sharing, and she's sending hugs and love, those loves
Yeah, I love it.
about you sharing what helped you the most. Find that mediator and
Yeah.
deal. We have some comments and other ones. And when it comes to dating, is there any advice could you give somebody coming from healing and willing to, let's say, who healed themselves, like, and willing to start another relationships? Like, I don't want to ask you directly, do you plan to have a partner?
Um,
And when is the wedding? But
yeah,
no, I'm joking.
so
But
my
how
suggestion is when you feel that wholeness within yourself, when you know your boundaries, when you are happy with yourself and you can look yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I like that girl. Okay. When you can do those things and your children are safe and they're happy, then yeah, finding somebody else, absolutely. But I mean, it's hard finding somebody right now anyways, but give it a try. Be open to things. Absolutely. But keep in mind those boundaries, right? That's very important. Um, the way things have changed so much, over the past, I mean, with all the electronics and everything, it changes so quickly that meeting people is, you can meet anybody anywhere. And it seems to be a bit of a safer space, right? Like we're speaking right now, we're not anywhere close to each other, but this would be a safe space to get to know somebody.
right.
Right.
And also, right. So thank you for sharing that advice on giving yourself time and first falling in love with yourself, right? Maybe making the mirror work. And also, I think that with the dating online, we have some hearts also.
Yeah.
um, from Beef Racer. She's saying, yes, you are absolutely right that everyone should be very careful about what their kids see. Kids grow according to your action. I mean, to say they do the same things.
Yeah.
Best thing to live life happy is love yourself, be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so thank you for sharing that, how much putting your needs, your wants before it's crucial when it comes to, hey, starting your new relationship. And also what I see, like with your own healing, you gave yourself so much time, right?
Right.
You spent 11 years, doesn't matter how many years,
Yeah.
but you spent years with yourself, like to create the same relationship with somebody else. The slowness,
Yeah.
the consistency, the lack of being passionate and love booming, the kind of mutuality,
Yeah.
all right? And the sex comes not first, right?
That's
It's come actually that if somebody really wants to stay with you, it's not like a religious thinking. I just think that it can be a way to test somebody,
absolutely.
all right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, and we have another comment. Best things to live happy life is to love yourself and be
Yeah.
happy. So thank you so much, Inez, for your time. Thank you guys, Anastasia, BM Racer, for all the comments on the loves for Inez, our amazing woman. So, and you guys will see her. She's in the process of working on another projects. I would like you to speak on your vision and also how people can find you, connect with you, work with you, read your book.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing this. It's fantastic, honey. I love everything that you do. Anytime you need a hand, you get in touch with me.
Thank you so much. Also, likewise, thank you for being here
Ab-
and supporting me and also believing as like my sister. It's really, it's amazing how we find ourselves from different parts around the world.
Definitely.
It's
Definitely.
blessed.
So I did put out my first book last November. It's called Breakthrough Success with Inez Kuz. It's available on Amazon. In it, I share some of my strategies and some of the issues I went through when I was diagnosed with both fibromyalgia and Crohn's disease. Why, thank you.
He likes you.
Oh, yeah.
That-
um, I am currently, I actually just got finished. I was mentoring with a nice young lady. She found her dream job, and so now she's done with me, she says. But I'm so
oh,
that she's done with me, because it means that what I did was helpful for her. So,
So
yeah,
you called her.
exactly. Yeah. But you know what? The best part of mentoring somebody is when they say, I no longer need to talk to you because I got this figured out. And so that's just fantastic. So happy for her. Um,
Mm,
I,
wonderful.
yeah, I'm looking actually at hopefully next year writing another book. So that's something that I'm excited about. Hmm.
Mm.
And
Really?
as winter's coming and stuff like that, it's time for me to get my house all bundled up and my little family, because it gets very cold up here in northern Alberta. So that's
Mm.
not all I'm looking forward to for the next couple of months, but I will be in touch with you. I have more live videos to share. I'm doing those, going to be more regularly as well. I had some health issues this past spring and summer, so those things seem to be subsiding. So I'll be spending more time online and just sharing anything I can so that I can help somebody else. Anybody can get in touch with me over Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, anywhere. I'm there.
So say again, Inez Kuz on Instagram and on Facebook, Inez Kuz, and then Success with Inez.
Breakthrough
Uh,
Success with
say
Inez Kuz.
again,
Breakthrough Success.
Breakthrough Success. All right, we can later add here a link for
Perfect.
that. Oh, we have also here, I am living now for me. That's a veteran from Canada.
Oh,
He's also taking part in our documentary, sharing his story. He is, I think, right now in Canada, and he's sending you love and basically a lot of hugs and loves hearts from people. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Inez, for your time,
thank you.
and thank you for this breakthrough informations, and thank you for bringing so much awareness and transforming lives. And I will be sure to catch up on you with you soon with your next book, or maybe even before. Thank you guys for watching, and have
Absolutely.
a beautiful night, date, wherever you are around the world. Yeah. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Oh, he's in Indiana, living in Canada. India. Okay. Well, bye.